The City of Wellington Charter 22D Battery, Royal Regiment of New Zealand Artillery. Whereas the Mayor, Councillors and citizens of the City of Wellington, being sensible of the honourable record and traditions of the 22D Battery, Royal Regiment of New Zealand Artillery, and being desirous of recognising, cementing and fostering the intimate association which is now and has for so long been enjoyed between the city and the battery, in which so many of its sons have been proud to serve. Now therefore the Mayor and Councillors of the City of Wellington do hereby confer upon the said 22D Battery Royal Regiment of New Zealand Artillery the right and privilege, without further permission being obtained, of marching with drums beating, band playing, colours on parade, bayonets and swords drawn through the streets of the City of Wellington, and do hereby accept the honour of viewing the 22D Battery Royal Regiment of New Zealand Artillery once in each year for the purpose of an inspection by His Worship the Mayor, and do hereby accept further the honour of having two officers of the said battery in uniform in attendance upon His Worship the Mayor on important official occasions. The granting of the freedom of the city to the officers and men of Wellington's own 22D Battery, 16th Field Regiment, Royal New Zealand Artillery, commanded by Major McNichol. The battery served with distinction and honour in the First World War and in the Second World War, and in particular in North Africa, Italy and the Pacific. 22D Battery is the only artillery subunit stationed in Wellington at Fort Dorset. It is in fact the guns of the capital, as it were. They are best known to Wellingtonians when on ceremonial occasions they fire official salutes from Point Jerningham, as is done, for example, on the occasion of Her Majesty's birthday. On important official occasions, as the acting town clerk mentioned in reading the charter, two officers of the battery attend the Mayor on special occasions. Such occasions are the citizenship ceremony, which is performed regularly in the council chambers, and of course on this day. This is a historic tradition, and it has been kept alive for many years. The freedom of the city is a rare honour. Indeed, until very recently, 22D Battery was the only unit to have that honour. At the last council meeting, the honour has been extended to a naval unit, and in due course, more will be said about that. Sometimes I wonder what freedom of the city might mean to you, the officers and men of 22D Battery. I don't think you get anything free, except perhaps you do get a free lunch today. But maybe. We are fortunately also accompanied today, today's Charter Parade, by the Band Royal Regiment of New Zealand Artillery from Auckland. This regiment is descended from one of the very first British units to be sent to the colony of New Zealand in 1845. The band is based in Auckland and has come down especially for this occasion this morning. It is of course in great demand in Auckland to play at various ceremonial occasions. I'd like to, on behalf of the city, welcome them here today with their Director of Music, Captain Sinton, Bandmaster, Warrant Officer Lawrence, officers and men of 22D Battery. May you long continue to enjoy the freedoms of the capital city of New Zealand with the distinction and honour you have done so for so many years. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship, for your kind remarks. We in 22D Battery are very conscious of the honour you do us by conferring the freedom of the city on us. Among the first this year too, conduct a recruiting drive during this year with the aim by the end of this year of having over 100 persons in our
Royal Regiment of New Zealand Artillery was given the freedom of Wellington City today. This ancient tradition is guaranteed by a charter that was drawn up just 7 years ago. Catherine Bonner presents this report for inspection.
Being given the freedom of the city is a European tradition dating back several centuries. Charters were drawn up between the city and individual army units to ensure the local peace was kept. Today, the only disturbance to the peace was the band of the Royal Regiment of the New Zealand Artillery, who kept beat for the boys of D Battery. An inspection by the Mayor and all his finery is another part of the annual event. Next, the Town Clerk read the all-important charter.
The Mayor and the Councillors of the City of Wellington do hereby confer on the said D Battery, Royal Regiment of New Zealand Artillery, the right and privilege, without further permission being obtained, of marching with drums beating, bands playing, colours on parade, bayonets and swords drawn through the streets of the City of Wellington. Battery, done!
It's not often the people of Wellington get a chance to view the battery, which was formed in 1867 by a small group of volunteers, and is best known these days for firing official salutes from Point Jerningham on important civic occasions.
It's the 7th time the Queen's come to open Parliament and outline the government's tasks for the year. Once again, it was highly ceremonial. MPs were back in the House for the first time after the summer recess, including Sir Robert Muldoon, who's recovering from heart surgery. In fact, there were more MPs than organisers bargained for. Roger Douglas and Russell Marshall couldn't sit with their colleagues because there were no seats for them.
Honourable members of the House of Representatives.
As is usual, the Queen's speech wasn't controversial. The government will continue its present course and stick to the reforms it's already promised.
The government is committed to its goals of an inflation rate of between 0 and 2%, single-figure mortgage interest rates, further public debt reductions, and a halving of unemployment by 1993.
The Queen surprised everyone by taking barely 40 minutes to complete the formalities. While her job's over, the MPs get back to business properly next Tuesday. Ray Lamb, One Network.